I am back with a brand new movie review. Now, I may have two movie reviews today. I'm not 100% sure, but I am definitely doing this movie review, and I am seeing Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse today. And if I have time, I will definitely be putting up the review for that as soon as I get back. Or that review will come out tomorrow when I have more time to sit down and actually do the review. But today, for this video, I do have the movie review for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Now, this film here is a movie that I wanted to see when it first came out, but never got around to seeing it. And the reason I didn't go see it was the art style. I didn't like the jerkiness of the video. And towards the end of this video, I'm going to talk about why they did this. And I don't like the fact that people are gravitating towards this type of art style. Well, I wouldn't call it an art style. It's more of the frame rate. And I'm going to talk about why I don't like this. I actually majored in computer animation and art in college. And I'll talk about why I don't like this style of art and frame rate at the end. But to get into this review, it's a long time coming. I've had numerous friends tell me that this is the best Spider-Man film that they have ever seen. And for me, I'm a DC guy, obviously, but there are three characters that I did read or have comic books from when I was a kid. Spider-Man was number 1, the Hulk was number 2, and Moon Knight was number 3. Now, I never collected those as a kid, but I did have numerous comics from each of those characters when I was younger. So I'm a little bit familiar with all of them. And to this day, Spider-Man is my favorite Marvel character. I've seen all the films, and my personal favorite is The Amazing Spider-Man. And I know that's not everybody's favorite, but to me, that was the Batman Begins version for Spider-Man. And I absolutely love that film. There's more emotion in that film, and heartbreak and everything else, and the music is incredible. It was by James Horner, and so I do like Spider-Man quite a bit. And so I finally got around to seeing this movie today, and I have started it 3 different times, but finally got through it. And I gotta say, yeah, this movie is pretty freaking awesome. It wasn't perfect, but let's talk about the cast first here. So we have Miles Morales, played by Shameik Moore. He did a fantastic job of playing Miles Morales, a great introduction into this character in film and cartoon. You had Jake Johnson playing Peter B. Parker, the Peter Parker from the beginning of the movie. And I was surprised to find out this was him because normally he doesn't speak with a deeper tone in his voice, but he did in this film. He's usually known for kind of going higher all the time and being excited. It's kind of annoying. In fact, the beginning of the Mummy movie with Tom Cruise was one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and he was at the beginning, and you can hear his pitch as he's screaming on the rooftops in that film. You had Haley Steinfeld as Gwen Stacy. She did a fantastic job in her role. Now, I don't know how you say this guy's name, but I'm a fan of him in his acting. The guy who played Uncle Aaron in the movie was Mahershala Ali. I know him from House of Cards, and he's done a few other things. And I think if I'm not mistaken, he was in one of the Marvel films on Netflix as well. We have tons of people. Now, the biggest surprise for me was when Nicolas Cage showed up as Spider-Man Noir. Now, I was not expecting that. We also had Liev Schreiber play Wilson Fisk, so he was Kingpin, and I thought that was very interesting. And we also have Chris Pine, who came out as Peter Parker. And basically, this movie hits the ground running. Like, it doesn't slow down from the beginning all the way to the end. It's very frantic in its storytelling, and it starts out with Miles Morales. We don't know anything about this kid, but we find out he's kind of a nerd. He likes Spider-Man and find out his uncle hates Spider-Man, but spends a lot of time with his uncle, who he loves. One night when he is spending time with his uncle, kind of in the underground, he's doing some graffiti on the wall, and he gets bit by a radioactive spider. And then all heck breaks loose as you find out that Kingpin is trying to open up this rift in the universe, and when he does this, ends up killing the actual Spider-Man of that particular universe with Miles Morales. And Miles was there, saw it happen, and at this point he had learned that he had a few powers, but he didn't know how to control them, and watches Spider-Man die right there in front of him while he does nothing. Well, this experiment goes awry and actually opens up a rift, and we end up with many Spider-Men in this movie. And for me, I really enjoyed that part of it, but it got a little ridiculous when they introduced the Spider-Pig. To me, that was a little over the top. I guess you have Mxyzptlk from Superman as probably the closest thing, or Batmite from the DC universe. I don't think that these characters really have a place in either live action or, film, the movies that they'll do, whether they're cartoon or not. But the way the story played out, there was a lot of heart to it. Way more heart than I was expecting. You felt for Miles Morales. You felt for his family. There were lots of things that happened, and this movie was very much about family. I think they did a better job. I got to tell you, I actually enjoyed this movie more than I did No Way Home. Is it No Way Home? Yeah, the Spider-Man movie that just came out last year with all three Spider-Men in it. I saw that movie twice, and on the second viewing, I found it to be quite boring. The only cool part was the ending. Well, this movie had a lot more Spider-Man characters in it, and they did really well with the interaction, and I thought it was way more entertaining. So this movie, it's not perfect, though. I really did like the music, but for me, what falls flat is the frame rate with the art style. The reason they did this is it's a cost-saving measure. When you render animated movies, when they're computer-generated like this, it takes up power, the computer, energy, everything, and you have to render it. Now, I remember doing, shortly after the first Toy Story came out, I was in college, art and animation, and we were doing some computer animation, and we actually had to render, I think I did a 10 or 15 second animation thing, and it took, I think, 6 or 7 days to render the video. So what they're doing is they're saving money and time and power by cutting out some key frame rates, some key frames, and doing probably, it looked to me like it was at about a third of the frame rate of a normal film. So a normal film can be anywhere from 24, most films are 24 frames a second, but you can get up to 60. This looks like it was at like 12 frames a second, maybe half. And by doing that, they're saving computer power. It doesn't take as long to render it. To me, it's a lazy way of doing the art style. And they're doing it with the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film that's coming out also. And I'm probably going to skip it. I'm going to go see the Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse today. But honestly, this type of... the frame rate gives me a headache, and I don't like it. Out of audio, video, frame rate, I could pick up on frame rates more than anything else. And it really irritates me when it goes below that 24 frames. 24 frames is the way movies are meant to be seen. Some of it's 23.97. And what's crazy about this is you've got the newer TVs get shipped, for 4K, and they're automatically in this 120 or 60 frame rate thing that's supposed to be for movies, or not movies, for sports. When you watch sports, that's what you're supposed to do. But if you watch normal TV shows and movies on this, it kind of looks like a soap opera. It's unnatural. It doesn't look right. And so there's something called filmmaker mode on all TVs that you want to turn on if you want to watch movies and TV shows the way they were meant to be seen. And you'll see lots of directors talk about this gripe with newer TVs, and I hate it. I got a new TV for our bedroom right around Christmas time, and it was very hard to turn on filmmaker mode and get the picture the way I needed it to. I tried to watch the new season of Jack Ryan, and it was awful. It was way too smooth. It was unnatural. It did not look right, and so I had to go in and fiddle with it till I got it figured out. So that's the way this movie is, but times 10. And I some people said you'll get used to it. I never got used to it. I didn't enjoy it. It's my one major flaw of the film, plus, the Spider Pig. So at the end of the day, my final score on this film is 4 out of 5 stars. I like the acting. I like the characters. I liked the actual art style, but I did not like the frame rate, and I did not like the spider pig that was in the film. But outside of that, this movie was really well done, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing the sequel here in just about an hour. So if I have time when I get back, I will definitely be doing a review on that and get that up as soon as I can. But I look forward to seeing it, and it's nothing like seeing a movie 5 years after it gets released, just to be able to go in and see the sequel right away. That's the benefit of not having watched this movie at the beginning. All right, I do appreciate the support. We will see you on the next video.